Hey guys, PrinceofMacedon here. Gonna do a commentary video for Total War Rome 2. This will be an Armenia versus Cimmeria battle. I'll be commanding the Armenians. My opponent's name is Noob Love. He'll be commanding Cimmeria. This will be done in the cinematic style of editing, and we're gonna fight this battle somewhere in Dura. And you can see his army set up right there. He's gonna keep all of his infantry hidden at the startup, but all of his cav will be visible. My army, which is a rush army, is gonna come moving forward a little bit. But this battle will devolve into two separate battles, my cav versus his infantry, and his cav versus my infantry. I am yellow on the tactical overhead, he is red on the tactical overhead map. I want to apologize right now for my my voice. I have some kind of head cold which I picked up recently. Here's my army setup though. I have 2 royal cataphracts, 2 eastern cataphracts, 4 axemen, 1 eastern spearman, 4 hillmen, and 4 cartly axemen. And this is a look at my left flank here, and I put all my cataphracts on this side. That's 4 units of cav. But you're going to see later that my cartly axeman will join the fight with my cav against his infantry. But as for now, the cav and infantry will be semi-separated, and there's a close-up of my infantry. Again, I have a cartly axeman, hillman, eastern spearman, and axeman. And it is a rush army. My goal was to close the distance and just destroy my opponent. That's before I saw his setup, though. So here's my opponent's army. Again, only his cav is visible, but he has 3 Cimmeria noble infantry, 1 containing his general, 1 hoplite, 1 militia hoplite, 3 pick peltist, 4 citizen cav, what you're seeing right now, and 4 noble horse archers, also present on the screen. So he's going to take this really aggressive stance with his cav. He's going to come charging at my infantry. It's a good idea, but he's only using citizen cav. So I think after his initial charge, he probably should have pulled out, but he's going to stay in the fight with his cav. But he's going to back them up with his noble horse archers. But here comes his cav charge. At about this point, my opponent's infantry became visible. So I'm going to launch a similar attack on my opponent's infantry. Except I will pull out my cav after the initial charge. But I'm still going to incur a lot of losses because his pick peltists are throwing their things at me. Well, you can see my cav is still engaged. So I keep my cav engaged for a little bit longer after the initial charge. But here I'm riding 2 of my cataphracts around. One of them is my general. I want to ride around his guys so I can charge it back to these guys. See how they're facing the wrong way? So I wanted to take advantage of that. At the last second, he does try to turn around. It's a little too late, though, because they are no longer braced. That's me activating my special abilities. So, my cav versus his infantry, and his infantry versus my cav. And, yeah, his citizen cav should have pulled out a lot sooner than that. Instead, he's going to stay in that fight until his guys rout. That said, I am still getting nailed by his horse archers, but I think his horse archers would have been a lot more effective out of Cambrian circle because I don't really have any skirmishers except for my short-range javelins, which my guys are throwing. But aside from that, I think he should have disabled Cambrian circle so his guys would not get tired so easily. And also, he probably should have sent his horse archers behind my guys to surround me and shoot from all sides instead of all from just one side. That said, I am still incurring a lot of losses, as you can see. So, ultimately, he will rout some of my units with missile fire. So, these are my cartly axemen, which I transferred over to the infantry fight. I figured my guys could hold their ground against his cav. So I sent these guys over to help my cav against his hoplite force and his pick peltists. I think the cartly axemen are great at taking on hoplites. But you can see the damage from the initial fight. A lot of my cataphracts were drained from fighting his infantry. But I'm still getting some nice charges on his infantry as they pulled out to chase my cav. As they try to rejoin friendly ranks, I charge in from behind. So I am able to rout at least 1 unit, just using my cav. But that said, I don't want to fight these guys too much longer, not without my cartly axemen. So I try to pull my cartly axemen out just a little bit, let him give chase, Then I will turn around with my cartly axeman, and in conjunction with my my cataphracts, I'm going to take on his units when I can, individually. But most of his troops are fighting in unison, you can see in the background. But any isolated units I see, I'm going to go for. That way it'll make it a little bit easier when I go for his the rest of his troops. But yeah, as I said, his horse archers are still killing my ranks, but it could have been a lot more effective if he took him out of Canterbury Circle, and if he shot from all sides, instead of just from one side. So my guys are just kind of taunting him. They don't mind the losses. The commander knows he can win this attritional fight. But it makes for some good close-ups here, I think. That Canterbury madness. But yeah, the missiles are quite destructive on my infantry. But I think the more important engagement in this point of the battle is my fight against his infantry. Because without his infantry, he's only down to those 3 noble horse archers. So getting some nice rear charges on his infantry. And this really was the turning point when I got his guys to split up his infantry. And I was able to make some hammer and anvil charges on his individual units. Like, even his general isn't going to last too much longer here. Those are my Curly Axemen taking him down. And they are starting to break right now. And ultimately, they do rout. So they're going to turn tail and run in a different direction. So pretty much all of his infantry is going to rout, but he finally transfers his noble horse archers to the fight over here. But without his general and without all that infantry, his noble horse archers are going to just break in terms of morale. So before they even got there, they couldn't even fight because the battle ends. So morale is important in Rome too. So it's considered a close victory. We're going to look at the damage here. So quite close in terms of kills. He had a smaller army because he spent his money on some higher quality units and a lot of those higher quality units. Anyways, good game to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed the cinematic battle between Armenia and Cimmeria.